Hello everybody, Bobster1984 here again, and I know it's been ages since I've done a video, but I thought what a perfect time to do a mid-season review for Newcastle United so far in what has been a very pleasing championship season. It's been one of those campaigns where you expect we to do well. You know, everyone expects we to do well, but we've actually followed through on that promise, and obviously we've got Rafa Benitez as manager and everything. Obviously everyone says we've bought the title, but I see Aston Villa and teams like that spending money as well. So, you know, how come that label is just fired at us? Well, because we're the most successful team in the division. Anyway, it obviously the start of the season, everything was doom and gloom. Obviously losing the first two games, but then obviously as predicted, everything has come good. I think obviously I'm going to do a few categories, you know, my game of the season, my player of the season so far, and things like that. But I just want to talk about, you know, how Newcastle are playing at the moment, and how we are shaping up going into 2017, which obviously will culminate hopefully with promotion back to the Premier League come May. You know, we currently sit after 22 league games, top of the pile, 1 point clear of Brighton, 49 points out of 22 games. I don't even know how many points is possible, but I'd probably work it out if I could. But we are on course to get over that 100-point barrier. You know, if we win on Boxing Day against Sheffield Wednesday, that's halfway of the season, 52 points. If you just, you know, emulate this first half, then you're going to end up with obviously 104 points in the season. Now that's not even a target. I don't care about that. As long as we get promoted, that is the main thing. Now, obviously, you're going to start off these little categories, and my player of the season so far has to be Dwight Gale. Now, you're looking at this and thinking, well, that's not really much of a surprise. It is a little bit for me, because we signed him for 10 million back in the summer, and I was genuinely thinking, you know, I know this lad's shown a bit of promise, and he scored a few goals against us in the past for Palace, but I don't think he's going to be what we need in terms of scoring goals. I genuinely thought we should have went after someone like Jordan Rhodes. You know, someone that is very experienced of Championship football. And as far as I was aware, obviously other than him playing for Peterborough, he wasn't very prolific in terms of being in the Championship. I know he'd scored goals. He was Palace's top scorer for the last 3 years. But I just wasn't feeling it. But he's proved me wrong, and he scored, you know, 16 league goals so far this season, and that's fantastic. He's not only looked like a hungry player, he's led the line at times. Obviously Rafa only plays with one striker, but he's linked up well with the midfield. He seems like he's getting a good reading of the game with Diarmi now as well, which is obviously only good for us because Diarmi is a good player. But yeah, I mean, if I was to give a rating, it has to be an A for Dwight Gale. Absolutely stunning so far. In terms of the signing so far of this season, I'm not going to go for Dwight Gale because I think that would be, you know, obvious. But I'm going to go for Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie's done really well for me so far. He's put in a shift. He's done exactly what we signed him for. He's burst down the wing. He's put the crosses in, got assists. Nick piped up with a few goals as well. So yeah, I'm going to go for Matt Ritchie for my signing so far of the season. Now, my game of the season, I can only pick one, and that was, you know, the 4-3 comeback against Norwich. But I do think there's some other standout contenders. You know, you've got the 6-0 away to QPR. You know, beating Birmingham the other week 4-0 after we'd lost 3 in a row. You know, things like that, but it's got to be the 4-3 just for the sheer drama of it. Special mentions, going back to the player of the season, I do want to mention about Jonjo Shelvey. Jonjo Shelvey is, you know, he's our talisman. You know, he's played every minute, I think, for Newcastle so far, and he's just, obviously he's going to miss 5 games now, but I'm not going to talk about that. You know, he's been a great player for us, and he's shown why we spent 12 million. Hopefully he can translate that into the Premier League next year when we do hopefully go up. But yeah, I mean, just a little video, just a little half-term report sort of thing. But yeah, I think we're well on target. We're doing really well. And you know, Rafa Benitez has just shown his class. And you know, I watched a video of him the other day where he was visiting the local hospital here in Newcastle, and you just think, you know, the man is just class, and he's been going round on these little tours of all the historical landmarks around the northeast. He was at the Angel of the North, and he was at the Castle Keeper Newcastle, and you just think, this man, he's not only managing the football club, he realises that he's representing the city of Newcastle, and he's getting to know about everything. And as far as I'm concerned, he's just world class. But yes, Newcastle halfway into the season, doing obviously exactly as we expected. Keep it up. How are the lads?